Penta in this one. I feel like maybe may edge it out by the smallest of margins, but it all depends on what type of bases Penta brought out this time around in comparison to yesterday. Because like I said before, I was very impressed with how they brought them out yesterday, and not something I particularly inspected or expected in any way in this final week. But we'll see what they can do here in this first matchup. And speaking of the devil, it will be Maxie to start things off for Tribe here in this first attack.
He will be so focused to not make the same mistakes as yesterday. You can see that extensive funnel to the left-hand side of the Queen. He does not want her walking in the wrong direction as she did yesterday, making sure that he can fix the mistakes and just pick his confidence back up. Maxie has a ton of experience as a player. He's been competing at this high level for a number of years now, and I'm sure he has this attack very well planned out with the Queen already charging into the bottom. There's nowhere else for her to go other than up towards the enemy Queen, but he still has a wall break. So it's interesting to see whether he's just jumping the Queen here, which is what I think, and then wall breaking the King, or whether he's going to... Oh, he's used the wall break there for the Queen to get to the multi first and probably jump her from this other compartment. Beautiful stuff.
What's even better is the Eagle Artillery is actually prioritizing the Queen over the King, which means that it's not going to matter too much. There isn't enough DPS to swing the favor towards GK Tim. So it's doing him a massive favor here. And the King, it also means for the King, it can go to that northern side and continue to take out the structures, additional amount of structures because of that Eagle Artillery. But it's actually switched over to the King now. So eventually he will get taken down. His ability has already been popped, and that's going to be it for the King to create any more paving on that northern side. And you can see the blimp again coming in from the 8 o'clock position, going straight towards that town hill. We'll have to deal with a fair amount because not a huge amount that's been cleared. Also, don't forget those Dragon Riders just coming up directly from behind with those loons taking out that Inferno Tower in the center.
Very confident with his Queen's pathing here as he pops the Battle Blimp in the center for the multi-target Inferno. We have mentioned, we've seen that a lot from Tribe. All of the healers go down, but Maxie has charged the Queen with such great success that he still has the ability for the Town Hall. Down it falls, and with the Royal Champion now moving in, a freeze spell in the pocket. It looks very good here for Tribe starting off. A much better attack than we seen yesterday from Eve Maxie. And there we have it. There are a bunch of storages. It's all whether he can get through them quick enough, as there's only 17 seconds.
Yeah, there's a couple of drills there. That storage is going to be the big one, but look at that, 10 seconds left. Most of it's already been taken now. Still going to be quite close nonetheless, but I'm pretty confident that this is going to be A-OK, as will be the first triple for Tribe Gaming. And yeah, it was a little bit close here and there. Get the Queen, and I've got a lot of value out of her going towards, not the center, but towards that 6 to 3 o'clock compartments. Completely cleared it using that jump spell as well. So great stuff there for Maxie. Textbook stuff, shall we say.
Beautiful indeed. Putting the pressure onto Penta, because we've already established Penta basically need to win this one. But it's still a big war for Tribe. We mentioned that if they win both of their wars, they would actually leapfrog Tom and I and move to second. But to be honest with you, the second and third place seed do not matter too much because they will play each other in the bracket within the finals anyway. It's really about dodging the fourth placed seed so that you don't have to face alternate attacks in that first round.
Yeah, I don't think anyone wants a part of that, and I'm pretty sure all three of those teams are going to be avoiding that like the plague, so I don't blame them in the slightest, as they're going to do everything they can to make sure that does not happen. And alternate attacks could solidify that later on if they do beat MCS, but that's for a match to talk about later on. That'll be the fourth match of the evening, just focusing on this south side. Now, there's Ice Golems, it's going to delay that Queen, but once she's dealt with those Ice Golems, she will be dealing with the AD and the Archer Tower in that southern compartment there. But yeah, just going back to it, of course, you know, with alternate attacks, with their reputation and their wealth of knowledge in this game and in the tournament scene, it's one of the very, very few teams you just want to completely try and avoid. You know, a lot of people may say, well, you know, you've got to beat everyone no matter what at some point in the tournament. But this is a little bit different. Not only is it going to be single elimination, it's going to be very, very tough for, you know, for anyone to take down alternate attacks. And it could, you know, change you from either getting top 4 or guaranteeing yourself top 2. There's a lot of talk about there in that kind of circumstance, which is why people want to try and, you know, get that dodge going and make sure they can't try and get that second or third seed. But so far the funnel's been created for the Queen, just pushing on towards the western side, now just taking out more from the western side and that next compartment as well, and giving a little bit of leadway here towards that town hall.
It is interesting to see Zakir using the hybrid again today. We've seen him using this yesterday, and it didn't come up with the greatest success. I think the Archer Queen, if I recall, I was watching the match. You cast it with Lady B. I think I remember the Archer Queen missed the Town Hall, and he had to use the King in order to get that. However, the Archer Queen does get the Town Hall today, so he can use the King with pathing. Let's find out if that does give him a better shot here. King diving into the base towards the Eagle is beautiful because it keeps the miners moving into the center alongside the Hog Riders. The Warden ability will help them through the Eagle artillery shots. He only has freeze spells for this back end though, so he has to use them wisely. Doesn't have a heal for the troops.
Look at that Tesla farm as well. Perfect placement with those spells, using that to just delay that DPS to give him a bit more of a carving here in terms of his pathway he wants to take going into that compartment. And the good thing was keeping that Queen alive earlier on. He was so close, knocking on death's door, but just making sure to get the full value out of her to push into the center was a huge play here from Zakir. And still the RC is still alive, and so is the Warden, looking very good so far. Only a couple of bits now to finish up, just that last Wizard Tower, and apart from that, it's going to be cleanup duty from here on end. As you can see with the mortar on that bottom left side as well, but that's going to be taken very quickly. Just the last bits here to do with that triple for Penta, and this is the perfect start for them to keep the pressure onto Tribe Gaming.
Certainly is, and I guess it technically means that Penta are in the lead with a faster attack, but they do need to keep that pressure going. Like you rightly said, Tribe have got a little bit less pressure on them because they are, well, they've got that match later today, so they're pretty much qualified, shall we say. There's only Penta that could change that if they indeed lose this matchup. So Tribe don't have as much to lose on this one. Penta will have that pressure. Is that going to be too much for them? Let's find out as we have knowledge. Moving in with the Hydra, the Dragons and the Dragon Riders. Does have 4 lightning spells, interestingly. Maybe he's actually going to lightning both sweepers here. We'll have to wait and see, as we've already got the heroes diving in towards the top area to take that Eagle. There we go, lightning onto both sweepers. Very nice, in order to make sure he can path right of the way through towards that Town Hall.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see how his next plan of action is going to pan out from knowledge, as that Queen and King still continuing to do absolute work in that northern compartment, popping his ability. And so far, so good in terms of prioritization. Is going towards that Monte Inferno, the Expo, the Archer Tower as well, and still doing a huge amount of damage, doing a great job keeping him alive as well. The King's still got a little bit more time left, but it looks like those drags, those loons, the Dragon Riders as well, just going to be making that final, well, I could say that first push until the final attack towards the very end on that western side. And we're going to find out when that, of course, the blimp's going to come out momentarily, but so far the spells will be coming in, just trying to speed up the process with these drags in that compartment due to the fact that there was a huge amount there, including the AD and that scatter shot with the blimp now just heading towards the south side to try and take out that Town Hall as well. Looking good so far, but Monte Inferno still doing a huge amount of damage onto these drags to try and get their ASAP. And with that spell, once again, be able to speed things up just a tad to make sure they don't take any more DPS from Eppie of Penta. But the good thing is, though, that Town Hall has been taken down, and so is the AD down the south side, and will be greeted by that Tesla farm as well.
It does certainly look good for knowledge. I would say, I mean, it's questionable. Those Dragon Riders do need to get across and get the Expo down prior to the Royal Champion getting in that region. That is what he needs in order to get this one done. But I do question the 2 lightning spells to the Air Sweeper on the right-hand side, because whilst it might have hit the dragons a little bit in the center, that could have been an extra 2 invisibility spells for the Royal Champion, or an extra 2 freeze spells. She's gone down, and it looks like the Dragon Riders are also going to fall short here as well. So it is a slip up from Tribe Gaming, and it is exactly what Penta needed to keep themselves and their hopes alive in this competition.
I can tell you what, the Penta lads are definitely going to be rubbing their hands at this one, knowing that they've been able to be quite successful here with their defense. But this is what I said to you earlier on, Judo, is the fact that yesterday, what you said was absolutely true with how Tribe performed. But I must say, Penta's base builds have been phenomenal, to say the least. And, you know, I've said some great things about them before, and it looks like the process could continue here. A lot of players just struggling to 3-star some of Penta's bases. I can't remember from the top of my head if these layouts in terms of these base builds are some are the same or some a little bit different compared to yesterday. But then again, they're still working, which is the main priority here. And it looks like Penta are going to continue with that path, hoping that their defenses are strong enough to hold Tribe back.
Absolutely, and I know MCES will have their eyes on this war as well. They will be shaking their heads knowing that Penta is the only team that can catch them. And if Tribe beat Penta, then at least, I mean, they've had a little bit of a let-off because Tribe, they did take MCES down yesterday. And, well, maybe they can do them a favor here. But Penta with GK Tim, I'm not going to talk too much about his army composition based on what happened last week, but we know how good he is, and he's got the lightning spells. Let's just see where he decides to use them. 7 lightning spells does tend to indicate around near the enemy queen, but actually he's moving into the center, and he's just using 5 around the multi-target Inferno and the sweeper in the middle of the base.
I like that. That was a nice little cleanup there. That one then was hoping to take out that one archer tower, but it looks like with the Tesla saying hello or popping to say a quick hello in that 7th compartment, not going to happen, but it doesn't matter. Had a little bit more investment, but it's definitely not going to change the tide of things anyway. And also just using that to see where the loon's going to go in that next compartment. Hasn't really found any more traps there. The baby dragon it on the south side, of course, just trying to help create that funnel later on. You want to see a few more of them coming in from the 3 to 6 o'clock side, now coming out to play. And this is going to be quite aggressive attack here from GK Tim. He loves his drag, especially his drag riders, like you've already mentioned here, Judo. And look at that, though. With the Eagle artillery there, let's try and see how much damage it's going to be able to do. But the blimps now come in. But remember, the loon came from a slightly different path. So we'll see if the blimp does manage to be quite successful going into this compartment of the town hall. Looks like it's going to be perfectly fine here. And hopefully the rest of the attack on the eastern and northern front should be okay.
Tornado trap in that area, and we can expect more traps once the troops come out of the balloon. So he does indeed freeze that area just to make sure he takes it down. Still got a lot of dragons and dragon riders moving through the base with the queen ability intact, royal champion ability, and well, the royal champion not even used yet actually. I just looked down at the icon, and obviously the royal champion icon not flashing, so that indicates he has not even used it yet. There she comes from the left side of the base, and this looks good for Penta to be taking an early lead in this war.
It's making it look easy, isn't he? Absolutely. Great way for GK Tim to continue the triples here for Penta. I know it's only been a couple, but it feels like a lot more than that considering how great their attacks have been so far. The RC just taking out the last parts of the defense. But I must say, in perfect time too, just nowhere near a time fail. Basically the same as the first attack earlier on as well. We haven't seen the likes of Muffin or anyone else like that yet for Penta. So this is shaping up very, very well indeed, and Tribe need to try and find an answer here to try and, put a stop to the fuel in the tank here, just due to the fact that Penta looking very strong from the get-go, and it means a lot to it here, even considering the fact that even at the very beginning, you see Tribe and their second attack, 84%. That could be a huge detriment here in terms of percentile going forward, but I'm a little bit worried for Tribe. Like I mentioned before, the defenses from Penta have been very, very strong leading up to this moment, but can Tribe be able to improvise enough to figure out a way to come back in this war?
Absolutely, and let's remember, we keep talking about Penta catching MCES up because MCES only have the one matchup and Tribe have 2, but if Tribe lose both of their matches, they could end up not qualifying altogether, and it might be Penta catching them up, so they are still not safe. They do need to knock it up a gear here, like you said, and be able to switch things around. But it was a lower percentage than what we've been seeing on the average. So even if they do get a slip up from Penta, they've got to be able to capitalize on that and hope that it's a big enough slip up that they could catch on percent.
Yeah, the potential of a 3-way tie for the last 2 remaining spots here is still the talk of the town here. And normally when it goes to the tiebreaker, the first bit of it is the head-to-head matchup results. But once Penta, possibly win this, MCES, Tribe, and Penta have all actually got a tie because they've all beaten each other and lost to each other once, which means it will go towards the stars they've accumulated. This is why it's going to be so big for Penta here. Not just to get this win in order to help them in the standings, but of course to tie up the head-to-head matchup with Tribe as well. Depending on how Tribe do later on, of course, on top of that. So we can see what's going to happen now. The Town Hall does get taken down, so that was a successful approach with that blimp, and just trying to see what else they can find in between, using that loon as well, just pushing on up there. But Kronos, needs to bring this back, but it's a very, very important matchup. They know that they can bring this back by any means here against Zakir's base. But like I said, Pentas have had a good defense over the last couple of days, or last couple of play days, shall we say, and we're going to see if that will continue here in this next attack.
A little bit misplaced, I would say, on the poison, because he had to spend a lot of time taking down the clan castle troops there so that they would not distract the dragons, which are now moving in from the bottom area of the base. How costly will that time investment be? He kind of had to do it after the mishap, but is it going to be too much, as he's got the heroes trying to get into that bottom area to force the dragons to the middle? Is it quick enough? He's used the king ability to try and force him forward, but the dragons are getting caught over there. He needs them into the middle. They have indeed redirected. Is it too little too late, though? I don't think so, because they finally made it through that middle section. It's all about if he has enough time to finish off the base. Dragons are now caught on the outside, but he's got 2 frees, the invisibility, and a bunch of hero abilities. So I think he's got enough to get through the base, but only 1 minute left, Lethal.
Yeah, the RC came out just in the nick of time to make a start on that Tesla farm on the 10 o'clock side, now going up north with the Queen as well. But 50 seconds there, there's only, still got a fair amount to take out in terms of the scatter shot, the cannon, the expo there as well. But it looks like it's going to be fine, as long as there's nothing else laying about. Even if there was, I think there's going to be way too much time left on the clock to get this triple. So they're going to be perfectly fine here, considering what they were going through right at the very beginning. But RC is going to be fine. He's going to be on clean-up duty with the rest of the pack here, and that's going to be a great attack there from Kronos. But I could see what you mean. It was a little bit skeptical there. Lucky the Queen was able to take out that left compartment quick enough in order to stop the drags from actually moving away from the sensor, just so they can actually continue with the amount of DPS it needs to bring forward towards that Inferno Tower and that Tesla farm as well. But no, great stuff again from Tribe to bring that 1 triple back to pile on a little bit more pressure onto Penta.
It certainly is difficult when you have the DPS, and if you can keep the troops alive, you can be surprised at how quick the base can go down. But as your troops start falling, it does indeed get to a sketchy situation towards the end. I think that looked like a super dragon. He had 5 of them, I think, on top of each other. It looked like the dragon had 5 heads moving down to the end of the base. So I don't think Penta had much of an opportunity defending that one. Eppie, though, looking to continue their perfection as he moves in with a Yeti blimp, just taking out that scatter shot and setting up pathing for his Queen charge. 2 super wall breakers, but no jump spells. Now, my presumption here is that he's trying to charge to the Town Hall and probably even break to that most central multi-target Inferno. That would set up pathing beautifully, actually, for his Dragon Riders, but that is it's a tough wall break, to be honest, Lethal.
Yeah, he's got quite a few rage spells there as well. Does have a poison spell if he gets into a little bit of trouble, but apart from that, we'll see how this Queen gets on. Does make it into the Town Hall compartment. Just taking out that expo first, and that sweeper will definitely don't need to worry about at all, because there's not enough DPS in that compartment to keep the healers back enough for that Queen to get taken down. So he's going to be okay so far. Is he going to continue to get delayed, but it's not going to delay the inevitable here. The race, but will come out now just to take down that Town Hall just a little bit quicker, just in case, but it's to take a lot more damage going further, because you've got to remember, still got to deal with that Inferno Tower just behind it. Anything else, there's a sweeper, would be a bit of a nuisance, but not a huge amount. But a Lava Hound has come out and will be delaying the Queen once again, but at the same time the King has found a couple of those Teslas on the 9 o'clock side and will try and make work of them.
I wonder if he's actually going to break the King into the Ego. That looks like the better play from how he shaped it up with the Dragon Riders on the left-hand side, because they can easily snipe that multi-target Inferno. It's obviously a much safer wall break for him as well. The Dragon Riders getting caught up early on here. A beautiful Warden ability protects them through a bunch of Seeking Air Mines, though. They move on into the multi, but he still has not used that wall break. It's puzzling me a little bit as to what the plan is. I don't think it matters, to be honest, Lethal, because the Dragon Riders have tore the inside of this base, and moving down to it, he's still got the Royal Champion ability. He can use that wall breaker for cleanup, I guess. He doesn't even need it at this stage. A beautiful job by Eppie. And it is going to mean that Tribe Gaming still on the back pedal. They need to defend Penta. They don't even need to 3-star because they're doing that. They need to be able to fight Penta off, but clinging on to this competition, wanting to qualify. This is their final match, so they need to win it, and they are doing everything. 3-4-3 now for Penta.
Eppie pretty much pulled that base inside out, wasn't it? Considering what we saw, what was left, and with those Dragon Riders afterwards, that was brilliant. And do you know what the funny thing is? Even the last 3 attacks from Penta, yeah, they've been triples, don't get me wrong, but nowhere near a time fail. The closest it's been is about 25, 30 seconds, and that was the last attack. Apart from that, though, they've been very, very smooth, and it's been smooth sailing throughout across the board, which I'm a little bit surprised about, because Tribe have built up a very good reputation for themselves, taking down Tom and I the 2 times earlier on in the previous play days. And it's just funny that they're still just struggling against some of the other teams. And this is one team here, Gino, you do not want to struggle against, considering it could cost you your spot later on. We know it's quite unlikely because they've actually got 2 opportunities here to qualify, not just one. So it depends really, apart from MCS where they've got 1 opportunity and it is against the like of alternate attacks coming up later in that 4th matchup, which they don't want. And they could actually play them again in the ISO Mobile Challenge finals if they do manage to bag that 4th seed. But Exorcist is going to do his absolute best to put a stop to this. If you guys are just joining us, it's been 3 attacks apiece from both Tribe and Penta. Penta currently up by 1 star. Bit of a blip there for one of the players from Tribe earlier on in their 2nd attack, but that's definitely not going to stop them from continuing to keep this as close and competitive as possible, as already the Queen just making her way, as well as the King, into that northeast compartment.
Very wise move using the skeleton spell there, dropping it inside the dead zone of the scatter just to tank the heroes that were standing behind that, because he's basically just dove his king and queen in, meant that he can take down the enemy heroes early on, which is going to mean the Hydra is not really going to get pulled off course. Whilst the dragons, the regular dragons, can take down the heroes, it can mess their pathing quite a lot. So he's been able to create this beautiful U shape around the base with the lightning spells in the center. Now the hero dive, it's just pathing everything through. Obviously risking it all here. He's got the Royal Champion, but not a lot for the Town Hall in terms of a backup plan. Mind, I have to say, Lethal, he has a straight path to it, so there's not really a lot that could go wrong in terms of needing that super plan B. Dragon should be able to cruise right to it.
And look at the positioning of that rage spell as well. Literally, the bulk of that army was in there and it was perfectly placed too. The only thing I'm a little bit worried about is the couple of ADs in the backline, as well as that scatter shot and heading towards that Town Hall, depending on what traps are left. And there's that Tesla farm on the left side, just, a sprinkle of damage here and there, which could definitely add up later on. But with that rage spell, and all the units are literally in that one spell as well. You can't complain here, Judo, considering what he's been putting himself through. Exorcist just trying to make sure that Tribe Gaming are going to be staying in this matchup, keeping it as close as possible. And look, there's literally barely anything left. The RC don't even need it at this point, but he's going to be coming in to take out those Teslas as well. And that is going to be another 3-star for Tribe Gaming, just letting them know that it's not going to be an easy war right till the very end. And it is going to come into that final attack. And great stuff from Exorcist, I must say. Very clean, great use of the spells, good positioning as well, and well thought out overall. And in terms of good way to try and execute that attack. All round good stuff from Exorcist.
Beautiful job. I mean, Tribe need to keep themselves in this war on, the chance that Penta do slip up. They can take the victory and they know that they're safe at that stage. But even if not, and they lose this, they still have that extra game we keep talking about. So they want to make sure they are going up against Reported at the end of the day with full confidence that they can get that victory and secure their spot. It's not going to be taken out of their hands. But you did mention we might get down to this kind of triple tie, which is super interesting because it does go down to who beat who. They've all beat each other. Then goes down to total match wins, total stars, total destruction, then most 3-star. There's too many calculations for us to keep on track of. I'm super interested to see if it does go down to that, what exactly would happen. But in order for that to happen, Penta need to keep the 3 stars moving in. Hocus Pocus now with the early stab to the Town Hall with the Battle Blimp, and he's got the invisibility nicely used alongside the Rage spell. Needs to make sure that nothing goes wrong at this early stage. Town Hall falls, Super Wizards continue to chain through, and so far, so good.
Do you know what? If it does come to the destruction percentage on the most 3-star attacks, I'm sure the lovely people at ESL are going to look forward to trying to work that later on for us, I'm sure. As you can see, now the attack for the Drags and the Lose now coming in from that 10 o'clock side, making a push towards some of the areas here to take up some of the defenses. But you can see from down below that Baby Dragon just taking out a few bits as well, the outer structures here, just to avoid that time fail later on. But here come the Drags and the Drag Riders as well, as the Warden just making a push into that northern side. One of the main priorities being that scatter shot and then going for the Inferno Tower straight afterwards, using that Rage spell once again just to speed these Drags up a little bit, give them a bit of a kick in the backside just to push a little bit faster. The Eagle Artillery is actually focusing on the Drags on that northern side, which, you know, not going to be too pleased about it, but it's going to be okay so far. It's just going to be pretty much tickling them at this point and using that free spell as well just to stop any more DPS coming from Exorcist's defenses. But you can see there's a couple of expos to deal with still. We'll find a Tesla farm as well, the AD as well on that southern side. And you can see as well, there's not really too much in his back pocket here. When he gets out the RC, that's going to be fine. That's going to play a big part here to make sure he doesn't lose any more than he already has done, because he's already taken a fair amount so far, Judo.
That defending Archer Queen in the center of the base has been devastating. The Electro Owl, cannot finish it off. So the Archer Queen stands. It took down everything in the center. He's still got a freeze spell, but the RC going down in health quickly. And I don't think he's going to get this one. It's going to be close. It's going to be a higher percentage than what Tribe Gaming got earlier. So Penta will still be in the lead in terms of percentage. But if it did come down to that triple tie, Penta trying to put as many stars on the board as they can. This war alone, even if they win, might not qualify them. It might not be enough. They have to take it one step at a time. It is the first slip up, and it means that Tribe Gaming, whilst they still trail, could now get this if they 3-star the next one and hold Penta off.
What a story, though. Let's go to the final attack. I was just about to say, I think it was about 84-85% for the second attack, but thanks to the studio, of course, just give us a little bit of a reminder of how things will pan out for the final attack. So you can see there they are up by 8%. That's literally all you guys need to know so far. The stars are exactly the same in terms of what's going to pan out in this final attack, but who's going to be able to take it? If they both get the triple, Penta, of course, are going to go through. If not, then Tribe need to try and win by at least 8% or more to be able to try and secure that victory. But Penta will have to see what they get up to. They're actually going to be the final team attacking. So if Tribe get this 3-star, whoever's it going to be, it's going to be a lot of pressure on them.
It certainly is, but you have to question now, Penta have looked so dominant this war. But is that now a little momentum shift to Tribe, with Tribe getting such an amazing 3-star and Penta obviously not getting it? Is that the momentum shift Tribe needed to take the victory here? It all comes down to these final attacks. It is Nee Bracks with the Inferno Dragons and Dragon Riders. We've seen this yesterday from him as well. Lightning spell will be used for one of the sweeper, most likely one in front of the Town Hall, maybe? It's difficult to say. I guess we'll wait and see. There it is. One in front of the Town Hall goes down. Just a couple of loons to try and take out that cannon. Needs to use another one due to the air traps being in that area, but he won't be too dissatisfied with that, to be honest. Alleviates a few of them for the dragons when they do move in. And there we see the skeleton spells as well to tank this area. Uses a third because there's so many Tesla pop that have high DPS, and he needs this area down to help with the pathing for his Inferno Dragons.
Yeah, when he saw that Tesla farm, he was like, okay, I've got a little bit more work to do here. And this is a very aggressive attack once again. As you said before, Nee Bracks, one of very, very few players here in the ESL Mobile Challenge, still rocking the Inferno Dragons, and we don't see it quite a lot, still lurking in the shadows a little bit in terms of that composition being used on some of these attacks. But it's nice to see someone's giving him some love, as already he's been doing a very good job of them as well, as the Warden's going to be giving a little bit of a helping hand with those Inferno Dragons and the 2 Dragon Riders in the front line. The Queen is still alive though. We'll be keeping an eye on her on that 9 o'clock compartment, having to deal with that scatter shot trying to break through that wall, as there's plenty wall breakers there, and probably will get taken down eventually. And now the Blink will be heading towards that Town Hall. We'll be able to get in. We'll use that Rage spell as well to try and guarantee that Town Hall has been taken down. But look at this, though. Look what's left. It's still got quite a fair amount here, Judah. Still got the Inferno Town, the Expo. Still got the AD on the south side. And the AD on the 3 o'clock side as well. I'm not too sure about this.
I was looking at that Queen so much thinking exactly what you thought. If he had a wall breaker, he could have got the Queen to the scatter and the air defense, but he indeed did. She took that down, and with the Royal Champion ability, it doesn't matter that the Dragons have gone down. He is going to clean up the defenses here, and he has 1 minute for the Royal Champion to pretty much solo the base. The Grand Warden will unfortunately follow the Royal Champion, but she does have Lassie, her pet, alongside her. Let's just try and count the buildings here, Lethal. Make sure there's none hiding up to the north of the screen, but I doubt it. I don't want to jinx anything. There we are. Thank you so much for the quick zoom out. 45 seconds remaining. The Royal Champion is pretty quick, to be honest. So she will move down to the bottom, take out this area. Tribe doing all they can at this point. 14 stars again from them, but is it enough? The war is still in the hands of Penta, and they have to 3-star this next attack to give them any opportunity of qualifying. They still rely on MCES losing later on, but at least it would keep them in the competition. Nevertheless, a 3-star from Nee Bracks gives a 14-star war for Tribe. That is very impressive.
I'm not going to lie to you. I think all of us were very worried to see if Nee Bracks could still triple that. Of course, with the RC and the movement speed, he was going to be fine. Even with just the Warden, maybe it could have been okay. It's very questionable. But I think right at the very end, with the few units he had left, when I saw there's still a couple of ADs in that Inferno Tower and that southern compartment, I was just like, okay, this is going to be quite tricky. It's going to be very, very close, but it depends on how much value the RC can get. And he got a huge amount towards the end, so he's going to be pretty happy about that. And Lewis, he is going to be the final attacker here in this war, and like Judo rightly said, he needs to. It's an absolute must he gets a 3-star here, because if he does not, it means that they will not be able to partake any further in the ESO Mobile Challenge in terms of qualification into the final. So going to give them a lifeline. They need to get this 3-star, and already making a start in that northern compartment with the Queen coming down here to deal with a few bits here in terms of the defensive lineup from Nee Bracks. And funny enough, it is Nee Bracks defending this time round. We're going to see what he can do against Lewis.
Oh, can you just imagine the pressure that he has on him at this stage? Everything on his shoulders for his team. He's actually started out pretty good alleviating the Clan Castle troops with very minimal spell usage. Queen still with that ability and a lot of rage spells as she moves in towards the base here. Just nicely picking off Spotter, obviously helping on Voice as well in terms of pop that minion up top there for cleanup, nicely working on the storage, and the King is going to help funnel the Queen directly in towards the base. Tesla Farm does not help, and the Queen is getting a little bit caught up, which is going to be time costly, as well as the Tornado capturing her as well. So he's actually just got to make a start with the Dragon Riders. There's no plan B. He's got to go all out here. Get them in. Make sure you don't time fail. You have to get this one, Lewis.
He certainly does. There's 90 seconds left and still a lot to deal with as the King to finish off the AD on the right-hand side. But the main thing is that Fave has taken out that Eagle Artillery, which was so important. He's still got another Rage spell to help with those Dragon Riders later on if he needs to, or if he needs to do so anyway. And you can see the RC in the middle manages to survive, use that ability to get into the center, takes out that Inferno Tower, and look how much is left so far, Judo. But you've got to remember, still got to take down the AD and the Wizard Tower down the south. The Scatter Shot as well. The Queen is able to still be able to stay alive, popping her ability and trying to take out everything on the outer edge. But even with the Scatter Shot left, everything's been cleaned up here, Judo. I think we're going to say, I think
he's done it.
Have been able to 3-star win this war as well. There's not really anything else left. It's just going to all come down base to time. The Dragon Rider's still trying to take down that Scatter Shot, but looks like the minion just... Oh, that's typical. That's absolutely typical. But the Queen, though, is still coming down south. But I think if we, calm it a little bit, it looks like they will be able to 3-star. It was pretty close, but it looks like Penta will be able to win this war by the smallest of percentages, and it looks like they can keep themselves in it in the ESL Mobile Challenge, winning by only